Hey guys, so we're here with the Nova Local Band Project. This is Tori, and I am here with Archie and the Bird Brains. How are you guys doing today?
Pretty good. Doing good, yeah. Thanks for having us. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. I'm glad you guys were. Glad we're able to still do this. Like, I definitely had it on my calendar, and we had been talking, and I was like we talked a while ago, and I was like, I hope everybody remembers that's what we're doing. But in any case, so we're just gonna jump into it.
Cool.
So I was doing a lot of research today on you guys. Um, and I wanted to know a little bit more about kind of how you guys started because I looked into like your bio and it was like silly, but like what's the whole story, you know?
Yeah, Michael, do you want to take this one? Yeah. Okay, yeah. So we sort of started when we were in high school. It was originally me, I'm Michael, and Nick here, and our original drummer, who Kevin came in to replace after a couple albums. And the three of us decided we were going to do this school-sponsored open mic night
Oh,
and
fun.
and play like two or three songs. Two of them were covers, and one of them was an improvised original tune, which we call Legend of Zelda Blues. And it's
Perfect.
it's like the first song Nick ever learned to play on piano. It was from the Legend of Zelda video game songbook. And then
Oh, I love that.
and I played the bass, which is not an instrument I really play. Uh and
So you
I
guys just did a
spoke.
lot of experimental stuff.
Oh yeah.
It was
Nice.
it was kind of it was kind of just entirely a joke, and we hadn't even like talked about a band name or anything. And we got on stage and they asked us what our band name was, and Michael just grabbed the microphone and was like, "Archie and the Bird Brains." I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Go with it." And we're still kind of just going with it.
Nice. Isn't that what we're all doing though? Just kind of go with it,
We're just kind of
doing
going
our
with
best.
it.
Nice. Okay, that's super cool. So how has that led you? Because like you guys are gonna be releasing your fourth album.
We have three albums out, and
Yeah.
now we're starting a 5 or 6 single um release schedule now.
Okay,
So
cool.
not quite an album, but like a lot of singles, and then we will have another album, full length project, probably 2021.
Okay, nice. So how does that like connection look like? Because how long have you guys been at this? So you mentioned you started in high school. So like how long has this been going?
Yeah, so we started in 2017,
Okay.
but it was pretty casual up until like 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Michael went to college, and I stayed in Northern Virginia, and we both like worked on our own musicality, and then we brought Aiden Smith as our bassist and Kevin Slappy as our drummer on. And then when we had all four of us in the same place, it totally changed, you know?
It was a
Mm-hmm.
sudden dramatic elevation, and we were basically like a brand new band, but we
Oh,
weren't going to
nice.
change the name. So we
Right.
keep all our stuff on Spotify and have a back catalog, and it looks good.
Right, for sure.
And
Okay, that's super cool. Because like, I think I've also kind of been at this as long as you guys have been since around 2017. And I know it gets hard to uh I don't know, with just like the ever-changing nature of everything and we're not really making a lot of money with this stuff. So it makes it hard to like keep people on. So it's honestly impressive like how much music you guys have been able to create in this amount of time because like, for us we have like what a couple of demos out. That's about it. So it's really impressive how you guys have like 3 full albums. That's crazy.
and very little personnel turnover. We must
Yes, that too. That's actually where I was going first.
we must have like a great HR department.
Fantastic HR. Everybody's happy. We have annual reviews. It's fantastic.
Right.
Just everything. I love that. So my other question was, where did the name come from? But you already answered that question. Tight. Um, So I listen to mostly Retroglycerin.
Good choice.
If I could speak, Retroglycerin, just because that was your most recent work. So can you tell me a little bit about the significance of the hourglass on the front of the album?
Yeah, absolutely. The whole album was written like right after we finished high school, and we were very reflective on kind of like the I feel like when you're in high school, everything feels like it's the most important thing in the world, and
Oh
then you
my
get out,
God, yes.
and it's just not not at all.
Nothing matters. Yep.
Nothing mattered at all. And honestly, like, we had great superpowers, like how little things matter. One time my girlfriend at the time asked me to pick up her sister from a Ross, and this Ross had like sliding automatic doors in the front, and right in front of the sliding doors was like this little ramp. Like, it didn't have any like handles on it, but it was for people with like wheelchairs, stuff like that. But it was wide enough for my car to drive up on.
No.
So
I'm so nervous.
I drove my car up this ramp. The sliding doors opened. I drove my car into Ross.
No.
My car was in Ross. And
that's Retroglycerin. So
I can't.
And this girl asked me, she's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "There are no consequences. Get in." And after we got out of high school, we were just like thinking about like how silly that time of our life was, and we were just like, let's write about that and let's move on. So the hourglass is about time, reflectiveness,
I see. So you drove the car into a nice.
Yeah, like a lot of the songs on that record have themes of moving on from the past, so like childhood and being a teenager, as well as like a big obsession with nostalgia and the way memories get corrupted and their significance. So it's a whole idea of, well, retroglycerin, the word, is a portmanteau that we came up with of nitroglycerin, very volatile explosive, and retro, meaning like past. So
yeah,
we're thinking about the past really hard, and we're blowing it up, and we're saying we're gonna move on.
Nice.
Here's our reflection. Whatever comes next comes next.
I'm here for it. So speaking of retroglycerin, the video for retroglycerin.
Oh yeah.
First off, the cinematography on it, fantastic.
Shout out to Andrew Grimm and Jack Hanton for being our production crew and helping us out with that.
Yes, absolutely. So after seeing the like jump in the like moving storage area, I was, because like you were like teasing it, right? You're like getting up on the rails, and I was like, oh my God, I'm terrified. And then like you did it, and I was like, I mean, it wouldn't have been posted if he had died, but like, what? So you're into parkour. That's interesting. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, I actually parkour in a weird roundabout way is what got me into music, because when I was younger, I personally wanted to join the circus.
Okay.
Not as like a joke, like I'm gonna run away. Like,
well, yeah.
I was legit working towards that. And someone in my high school theater department was like, "You do flips. You have to join our theater so you can do flips for theater, I guess." And then I met.
So you can do flips for theater?
Yeah, they would just throw in a flip in any musical. Like it didn't make sense for the plot, but they're like, we need
just
this.
Put it in there. Fantastic.
So then I met Michael through that, and then Michael and I started doing music. And it was just like a really.
So you both do parkour?
No, we did musical theater together.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So I met him through that. But yeah, I've been doing parkour since I was like 13. That jump specifically is actually like the first big jump I ever did. I very vividly remember jumping when I was like 15, and like, yeah, it was a fun spot to go back to. It was very important to me personally.
Yeah, that was crazy. I'm like the kind of person who like, I'll be like scrolling at Instagram, be like, if you follow those pages like have memes or like crazy videos and stuff, and then you hit one where it's just like, that didn't look like it was healthy, like that looked like that guy did, so that was the vibes that I was getting, because like, I'll get that.
It was a healthy
I mean,
jump.
like, thank God. But it was crazy, and like you weren't wearing shoes.
I thought I was wearing shoes.
It looked like socks to me, and so
I think those were shoes. I think I was wearing shoes. Yeah,
so
they were
like,
light shoes.
Jumping onto gravel.
Yeah,
Nick.
Like commitment to art for sure. Like that's a lot. So,
I love jumps.
Yeah. So I like also how like between Cool Wet Wednesday and Retroglycerin. You have like the Zentai Suit thing. What? Why? Is it just cuz or like?
Evan, do you wanna take this one? Start us off.
I don't know why.
What can you tell us what you know and think about the guys?
They appeared in the suits one day,
Uh,
and then Nick drop kicked me in the chest for a video. And that's
That
all I
was-
remember.
We did
That
so
was-
many takes of that.
We did like 8
Oh,
takes
no!
of that. I'm a frail
why
man.
only one take? At the end of the day, you had a drop kick. Did you really have to do it more than once?
Yeah, Kevin's such a pro. He's such a champ. He just kept insisting, kick me again, kick me again. I can do it better. Kick me.
I think it was our director's decision. I think it was Jack's decision.
Yeah,
He was
Jack-
like, we need more.
Jack doesn't like me very much. He was trying to get rid of me. And,
Like, ouch. And I liked the Epicure cameo. That was great. I
Yeah.
feel like for any musician in this area, it's like that's very like, oh man, Epicure. Yep.
Yeah, right. Love that venue.
Nova Lore. That's like
Absolutely.
that's the joint. That's where we first started performing, basically ever outside of our
I feel like that's where
school.
everybody starts, like, because they're just like, hey, you have a show? Yeah, sure. We'll book you. Yeah, we'll pay
Yeah.
you too.
The
And it's
accessibility
like,
is like fantastic.
yeah, it's so great. Like, we played 2 shows there, and our first show, well, first of all, it was like weirdly like okay, like it was really like good. But like the
Nice.
shows that we've been like putting together make no sense for Epicure. Like I'm in like a harder rock, and then we have like metal there.
Hell yeah.
And it was like, oh, okay, but you know, whatever, we did it. But what I also wanted to mention about Retroglycerin, I'm gonna say it right one day.
That was it.
But it also, well, yeah, but there was a pause because I could tell that I was gonna mess it up. But yeah, so it also has a very like retro sound, right? So what are your guys' inspirations? Because, you know, for me, like it just has like it just has an old soul feel. And then when I like look at your guys' covers, you guys seem to be really into like jazz and stuff. So what artists inspire you?
Let's start with Kevin.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to start with our drummer.
All right. I have a wide variety.
Go
of
for it, man.
Influences. So, my favorite genre of music is progressive metal, and
Okay.
I've played a lot of that. I'm really into that. Very heavy stuff. I have studied as a jazz musician for the past like 7 or 8 years.
Yup,
So-
okay, that's a long time.
Yeah, so that's coming into it as well. And then like I like pop music and like electronic music and stuff. So I'm
Kind of
kind of all
the
over the
whole
place.
gamut.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
gotcha.
If it's music, I'm like, sick, let's go.
Right, for
Um,
sure. More people should be like that, I think.
Yeah, it's great. Music's
Mhm.
fun. But yeah, so when we write our songs, it's kind of like whatever these guys come up with, I'll just try to fit the vibe and go along with it.
Yeah, nice. And it works. So
And like Kevin, literally, I can't sing this boy's praises enough. Like I've played with so many musicians, like when everyone's off at like college and stuff like that, and before Kevin was here, and like, man, Kevin is just so diverse. I'm just so like happy to be in a band with him. I think he's great.
Hell yeah.
that's
can play
awesome.
it
I feel like we all feel
as
that way
long as
about our
it's drugs.
drummers. Like drummers are such a rare breed, and when you find a good one, you just gotta hold on to them.
Drummers need a national holiday.
They really do.
Drummers need pay.
No.
Also that.
That's the goal.
This HR department won't let me go.
Right. Even though they're not paying me, they just keep
Yeah,
telling me they can't let me go.
Yeah, I don't understand. But
Yeah. So I personally listen to I really like jazz. I really like pop. Those are kind of like my top 2, which I know that they're pretty like opposites of each other.
Yeah, in terms of like structure and such. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like what I really because I feel like each musical genre, when I think about it, is really good at a different thing. And I try to pull like the best thing from different genres. Like jazz, I think, has beautiful chord progressions and colors and like emotional landscape to it. But I love like pop's energy and how it makes people dance and stuff like that. So like when I'm writing music, at least, I try to embody the best parts of different genres and kind of making something new. And I feel like all of us do that to an extent.
Yeah, absolutely.
And for me, I get a lot of my inspiration from mostly rock. I stay mostly in the rock world, but I like to dive really deep into like specific niches. Lately, I've been into the mid 90s Boston shoegaze scene.
Okay.
Shout out to the band Swirlies. These guys haven't even heard this yet. This is probably new to them because I really just got into them, but it's so cool. I love getting into the specific idiosyncrasies of like a scene and a genre. And boy, mid 90s Boston shoegaze is
mid 90s Boston shoegaze.
Yeah, it's just like the best thing I've ever heard for this week. And you know, a lot of indie rock just hits me right in the aesthetic gland.
The aesthetic.
And I'm just like, this is what I want to emulate. I don't have to follow exactly their style of harmony. I like to turn to jazz for that. I have what I call the Retroglycerin chord. It's one I stumbled upon, and I put it in every song on that record.
I love that you have your own chord. That's fantastic.
What is the Retroglycerin chord exactly?
It is. So I found it before I figured out what to call it, actually, and I think on revisiting it, it's a minor 7 with a sharp 12 in the second inversion. There's
a sharp 12. Oh yeah.
So it's a minor
Wouldn't
7.
That be a flat 13.
Flat 13 is exactly right.
Okay.
So it's a minor 7 chord with a flat 13, and it's with the 5th in the bass. All voiced on the bottom strings and deep strings.
And he says he doesn't like Jacob Collier.
Those deep cuts.
He says he doesn't like Jacob Collier.
So if you, in case it needs to be said, I'm also studying jazz. But,
okay.
It's a little more interesting to talk about the non-jazz things I really get into. So I'm super into Death Cab for Cutie. Like
I did watch a
indie
cover
stuff.
of. Yeah, I got in there.
You really dove deep.
I did.
Good research.
She probably knows more about us than I do.
I really do the best I can. Okay, so Nick, do you want to talk about your EP? And I'm interested to know. Well, like I watched your video talking about it, but like the people who are listening to this might not have watched your video talking about it. So do you want to talk about your EP again?
My EP. So I have one that's already out called A Moment Past, and I have another one that I'm kind of in the process of working on. Which one are you referring to?
The one that you've already put out.
All right, A Moment Past. Ooh, this is a blast from the past. Cool. So that is an album that's an EP that came out. Man, good job on your research, by the way. Like, watch the video, everything. Chef's kiss.
I did.
So, so when we were in high school, you know, the only thing that was important to me was like the theater we were in, and like Michael, who's my best friend, and like the girl I was dating. And then Michael went to college, the girl and I broke up, and I didn't go to college, so I like didn't have a new theater to plug into or anything. So I was just like at home, like terrified, you know. So we didn't know if Archie was going to continue or anything. So a lot of it was, the lyrics were kind of blaming my sadness on like this breakup specifically, but it was really just like the collection of like all the different types of loneliness of like just being stuck at your house while you see all of your friends like growing and developing and stuff like that at college. And it was just really scary for me. So I wrote the whole thing in 2 months, the September and October after like school started. and then I recorded the whole thing and released it in a week.
That's insane. That's crazy.
I recorded the whole thing in a day, and then I invited a mix engineer over, and then we like released a song every day, and we mixed and mastered it like every day. So we like literally the moment we finished the song, we popped out the new one. So it was like very intense, you know. And then we finished it, and I was like, what next? And then we started working on Retroglycerin. So,
nice. I feel like that's a super like cathartic type of like way to process everything.
It's a very important EP to me. I have a lot of nostalgia for it, but I like pretty rarely tell people to listen to it. I really like, if you're gonna listen to one song from the EP, I really like Sleeping Alone. I'm really proud of that song. But overall, it was more like for me than for like an audience, you know?
It makes sense. That makes sense. Because I was like, you know, as I was like kind of going into it, I'm like, I mean, why not release this with, you know, with Archie? But I think I get why not. Makes sense. I get it. So how do you guys write the lyrics? Do you guys like collaborate on them, or is that all Nick or Michael? Do you write it? Like how do you make it work?
Actually, Nick and I write close to half and half of the lyrics. He probably writes a little more than I do, but he and I write most of them between the two of us, and then we've done it all possible sort of permutations. Like I've brought in whole sheets of lyrics and said, this is word for word what you're gonna sing. I used to sing sometimes, which we don't do anymore. And,
but you have a good voice. I like it.
Oh, that you're seriously too kind. But honestly, Nick is such a pro. We couldn't waste his talent by having him not sing on our stuff. Maybe I'll sing my own solo stuff someday, but we cannot squander him. It'd be a disservice to the audience. But thank you, and I do appreciate it.
I was actually listening to old Archie like yesterday, and I did have the distinct thought, like, man, Michael's voice is actually really nice on this.
Yeah.
You guys are too nice. But I've written whole like broadsides and said, here's what you're gonna sing. And Nick has written whole songs himself, and then there have been times where we have like poured over lyrics between the two of us and even torn them apart. As a 4-piece band, like we all got in the same room and said, here's the first line, what sucks about it? And it's like pulling teeth. And that's like painful, but we get some of our really good songs by doing all processes.
Retroglycerin was written really collaboratively. I Don't Love You was also written pretty collaboratively. I wrote the first verse and chorus, and then Michael wrote the next verse, and then I think we wrote the chorus as a band, or the bridge as a band. So yeah, there's all sorts of stuff. It's every song is different. It's very fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, you guys work really well together. And also like as a singer and like lyricist, I am so like protective of my stuff. Like I couldn't imagine, you know, giving lyrics to like my bandmates and being like, hey, you guys can do whatever.
Yeah,
I would lose my mind.
That's why I used to sing. I'd be like, hey, I wrote the words to this one. I need to bring my baby into the world. I'm delivering this thing. And now I say, here, I've grown this thing halfway. Nick, you carry it to full term.
Just halfway surrogate. I love that.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
But it's so scary. Like I did not want to let go. And I was, it did become, I realized it was worth it after a while, but it was a scary leap to let go of a thing that you care so deeply about. And you feel like, I don't know if I can trust anyone else to execute this the way it needs to be, and no one else has my vision for my song. But when you're in a band, at least the way we think of it, it's no longer, once you bring it to the band, it's no longer my song, my words, my part. It's really a collaborative effort. And as soon as you say, hey guys, I'm throwing this out there, let's work on this, well, it really becomes communal property. It becomes expropriated from you, and it takes a lot of trust for the other 3 band members here. And luckily we get along as people and as artists, and we have a lot of respect for each other, and I know I can trust all of them, and I think we all have a really good web net of trust, and that's really what it takes.
Well, Kevin has to have a lot of trust to be drop kicked 8 times. So
Yeah.
absolutely. Wow, that's super cool. And I feel like I need to take some of that energy and bring it to my stuff. Cause like, when I'm writing stuff and I'm super like, this is coming from a place. This is coming from a place that I don't really want to tell you about. But if you read the lyrics, you know exactly what's going on. Um, and if you ask, it'll turn into a therapy session. So let's just like leave it as is. Um, but like, no, that's super awesome. And rare also. So that's super cool. That's super cool, guys. I can't even.
We're really good friends first, like we're able to make music we're proud of because we care about each other outside of the music.
Mhm.
I think that's what really like makes it work for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really do build in just like hanging out time into our, like, if we're working 7 days, we're gonna take one of them and at least do half of it just to like play Minecraft together.
Nice.
We cook together a lot
fun.
too.
Yeah, that's brings a tear to my eye. That's super awesome.
Kevin, you want to talk more about Minecraft? You're maybe the most passionate.
Would you like to talk about Minecraft?
No, that's all right.
The floor is yours.
You'd
Go
be
for
here
it.
For far too long. I actually don't even play that much. I forgot it existed until I came over here and Nick was like, "Yo, guys, I have Minecraft," and I was like, "Oh, sick."
Nice Minecraft.
And then I got addicted.
So as soon as you told me that you guys were into theater, I wanted to know what your favorite roles were.
That's a hard one. Do you want to go first?
Flipping man.
Okay. That's fun. Okay, so I got to play leading player in Pippin at one point, which that was exciting, and I was like glad to be a big role or whatever. But I don't think that one was my favorite.
Okay.
We had a friend named Paul Hardin, who, phenomenally talented guy, wrote his own musical as an 18-year-old.
Intense.
Right?
Oh, God.
So I auditioned and got into his show, and I was in the original cast of it. And like when you're doing a high school show that's already been done, you can listen to recordings and watch bootlegs and figure out other people's choices. But there's something so cool about like getting to really invent a character for the first time that I really enjoyed. And that's what keeps me into rock music instead of musical theater, because like I love getting to write our own tunes and like create our own show,
But like your musical theater influence, because I look to musical theater when I'm looking for like techniques and such. Just because when you get into the rock world of things, it's just kind of like, that's cool for him, but I will get notes. Like I like consider doing that, they'll just develop right away. But like you can really hear the like musical theater influence in like your tone. And I really like that. And I also think that it's like important for, because it's like when I'm listening to your stuff as a singer, I hear health. And that is one of the most important things is healthy.
Thank you
singing.
so much.
When Nick's vocal teacher hears this, he's gonna go, "Oh, chef's kiss."
Dude,
that's what I need to hear.
Perfect.
It's all thanks to my voice teacher. His name's Sam Shin. He is the greatest blessing on my life. He's so much more than a voice teacher. Like he's great.
Yeah, it's super awesome, and I really can't wait to see what's going to be coming up for you guys next. And I know we had talked about, and I don't know if I'm going to keep this in the interview or not, maybe cut it out, but we had talked about doing multiple interviews as your stuff comes out.
We'd love that.
Yeah, so what's the next thing and when can people be expecting it?
Our next project, our next release is coming out, the second week of September.
September 14th.
September 14th.
Yes.
And
Wow.
It's our first of 5 singles that are coming out, and this one is called The Summer That Never Was. Guess what that's about?
You can't.
It's,
Listen, as long as you don't call it quarantine or COVID, I'm good. So
Quarantine tapes.
Ugh.
Yeah, we think it's a fun, like, there have been so many people who, like, I don't think capitalize is quite the right word, but like kind of are extorting the situation of like, oh, we're all in this together. Like, you're in your like 20 by 20 foot apartment and I'm in my mansion, and like we're all
Fine. We're just like you.
we're just like you. But like, you know, we took like the situation and we just kind of, we made it sound beachy because it's a summer song, but we were like, this is not what we wanted, and that's okay. So hopefully it's fun and people like it, but it's not like annoying, just like, oh, COVID, you know?
Yeah.
So
Any song with the word
angle.
quarantine or COVID, I can't. Thanks.
You know, one angle that we took with this song was, let's see, back in the early spring when the quarantine was just beginning, I read an anthropologist was saying, hey, start a journal, document what's going on. This is historic stuff. For posterity, document what life is like, what your life is like, what the whole of society is like, and how that impacts you as an individual. And we sort of took some of that mentality and just wrote down and recorded for time immemorial a little bit of what it's like. We tried to both capture the feel and understanding of like, yeah, it's summer and there are some nice things going on, but it's kind of hollow, and it's just hard and a little bit dreary, and
Definitely that.
just what the spirit and feel is like, but also in some of the specific words, we just talk about what's going on. And I think that's one of the more unique angles we've got going.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's been one of the main things in this whole situation is like, you know, it's impossible to ignore. Like in any other worlds, like we would be doing this face to face because that's an easier thing to do because we'd be in one frame and it would look better and whatever. But like that's impossible because like I'd rather not get sick, you know. Not that you guys have the COVID, but you know,
Yeah, we gotta play it safe.
but it has been weirdly like productive, but like it's bittersweet because yeah, I've got a lot done, but at what cost? You know? So it's really cool that you guys have kind of been able to channel that, like, I don't know if it's like an anxious workaholism, but in any case, you're gonna come out with some great stuff. And it's gonna be, you know, not worth it because it would never be worth it. But you still have like a way to say, yeah, we came out with an album during that like historical point in American history.
Yeah, like no discussion of the coronavirus pandemic is complete without acknowledging the tragedy and just horror of it all. I mean, there's just so many deaths that happened, and it's really crushing when you really think about it. But for many people, life is still happening and life is still going on, and this is our effort to document what that's like, and not to overshadow any of the tragedy, but and say like, ooh, my life's so hard, oh, I just have to make music all the time.
Yeah, of course.
But like, this is one element. I just want to make that.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that's important because we all express ourselves in different ways, and to like stifle yourself because of everything going on would be kind of a disservice to you. So it's super important to be able to express yourself in any way that you see fit, as long as it doesn't involve hurting another person, you know. But Yeah, I mean, not to get dark with it, but at the end of the day, like that's just the reality of the situation. So you can't really
Yeah.
avoid it, you know.
Yeah, but for us personally, like everything previously said, like 100% true, and not going back on that. But it has been, in a sense, beneficial for us in that, like, last summer we focused really hard on getting really good at doing live shows, you know? So we played live shows every weekend and we got really good at it and we got really
Dang.
comfortable on stage. It was awesome. And this summer we wanted to continue that by going on tour and stuff like that. But COVID happened and we were just like, okay, we can't play live shows. What can we do? So we've been in the studio. We've been making music recorded. And while last summer we got great at live shows, this summer we've gotten so much better at recording ourselves. So we've like become more rounded as musicians as a result, which like that's something I'm thankful for. I'm not thankful for the whole situation, but like I'm thankful for that byproduct of it.
Yeah, because I feel exactly the same way. As this has been extremely productive. I would never be doing this. I would be doing anything but this. It would probably involve a Korean barbecue somewhere.
How long have you been doing these interviews?
Probably just a month or two.
Congrats. That's cool.
It's been great. But we're getting to the end of it because I got a lot of music coming back, and everyone's like, "Hey, we're waiting for lyrics," and I'm like, "Yeah, but I'm doing interviews." So need to get back to that. But it's been super fun, and like meeting everybody, and like plotting on what kind of stuff we're gonna do once we're able to play live again, and just a lot of like opportunity has come from it, and it feels wrong, but it's like, man, you got to do what you got to do, you know. Yeah. So I don't think anybody can fault or feel any type of way, or think that you're trying to overshadow a situation, because that's just not the case. So to get away from that, I'm super excited for everything that you guys have coming out. I think I mentioned this to Michael, but I would like to say it to everybody. When I had kind of started my research a while ago, I like saw the video for Cool Wet Wednesday and like immediately sent it to all my friends, and I'm like, tell me this isn't a groove. Tell me it's not.
Ideal.
Tell me it's not. It's fantastic. And I think, for us in this area, like me growing up, I grew up in like the Wharton, Springfield area. And so just like seeing like things from my childhood in the video are like just fantastic. And I think that's a super cool, like, a super cool thing about like this being kind of central to the DMV area, like, because I'm not doing any interviews for like anybody who is outside of the area, and just like kind of looking for a way that we can like bolster our scene, because like there's so much cool stuff going on here and people just don't know. So like if we can just keep making cool shit and putting it out there, then maybe we'll be the next LA. We won't, but
I wait tables. That's how I pay my bills. And I was talking to one of my tables recently. So there's like TVs at the restaurant, and there were X Games going on and like skateboarders and stuff. And they were like, my table asked like, how often do you think people get hurt doing that? And I was like, oh, well, I used to do extreme sports and like backflips, stuff like that. And honestly, like less often than you think. And they're like, what? I was like, yeah, there's a lot of stunt doubles who like come out of here. Like stunt double from Deadpool grew up down the road. Like some of the Power Rangers are from here. And it was just like, and I was just kind of having this realization while like talking to this like random family. They're like, oh wow, there's like a lot of people from Northern Virginia who have like done things.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cool. And they were confused to be having that conversation for Sunday brunch.
For sure.
But I was just living my life,
For sure. Like, And it would be super cool to just like, you know, one day we're all out there, whatever, but to kind of like make a name for ourselves out here. Like we have Dave Grohl, but like,
Yeah.
isn't that it?
He's from Springfield, right? Like right
Yeah.
on your area.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm out in Herndon now, but
Oh, word.
yep.
And Dave Chappelle isn't too far away. It's just a little bit up north.
Yeah. But like, is that it? I feel like that's all we have. Like, I feel like we need more, you know?
Well, then let's do things.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Let's work.
Like, let's kill it. Like, that's what we got to do. So I'm the most excited, and this has been super great talking to you guys. And if you could take this time to plug all of your things so I can include it in the video.
Absolutely. So if you don't already know, we are Archie and the Bird Brains. You can find us on Facebook as Archie and the Bird Brains. Same with Spotify. Our Instagram tag is Who's Archie Official. No, it's just Who's Archie. Website, who'sarchie.com. For booking inquiries, you can email us at Who's Archie Official. We have new songs coming out starting September 14th, every other Tuesday coming after that for the next 5 cycles. Lots of new music videos coming out, lots of new music. Super excited about it. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much.
This is amazing.
This has been so tight.